Hey everybody, this is Paddy from Odds on FPL, introducing this week's episode of Who to Captain according to the bookies. The point tallies are calculated from spread markets, which allows for the model to predict points for clean sheets, assists, and goals combined. FPL Review have been so kind to allow us to use their model for this series going forward. We'd recommend you check them out on Twitter at FPL Review and their website online. You can check this out by clicking the links in our description below. If you're a new viewer or an old one who's yet to subscribe, what are you waiting for? We're aiming to get 169 subscribers by the end of this game week, and we're only 69 subs away. Don't forget to also like this video and turn on notifications so that you won't miss a video going forward. Now, onto the video. This week starts with a fixture of Leeds against West Ham. It's the kind of fixture which I think potentially could have goals. I'm unsure if Antonio's going to be fit, but Leeds look fantastic offensively. Still, they have some times where they look poor defensively, but I think Meslier is coming into a bit of form. What do you think this game's going to end up like?
I'm really feeling like a score draw. I think West Ham got robbed against Man United based on the first half last week.
But Bruno comes in.
I think Bowen, it looks really, really good. He should have had two or three. Yeah. Maybe like a 1-1.
I have two Leeds defenders in my team. I have Meslier and I have Dallas, so I'm hoping for a 2-0 Leeds win. Realistically, I think it could be 2-1 to Leeds. Bamford somehow performs better away from home, but I think against West Ham, really this one could go anyway.
Yeah, it's close.
Wolves against Villa. Wolves obviously still without Jimenez. They lost 4-0 to Liverpool. They looked awful.
Yeah, and Aston Villa got obviously the rest because they didn't play against Newcastle. I think Grealish will cause them a lot of problems. I really think that Villa can get an away win here. Wolves don't look great at the minute.
I think Villa have been really poor lately, though. Like, as in terms of form, they haven't been picking up a lot of results. If you look at it, it could be a low-scoring game, but then Villa don't really do that. Probably
depends on how many penalties Watkins miss and if he can score them or not.
I think Grealish is on them at this stage.
I hope so.
Next up is Newcastle against West Brom. This game could be called off.
Yes, I don't believe it's confirmed yet at the time of this podcast. Look, to be honest, is anybody going to care if it is? Like, it's a stinking game for FPL.
I have Lewis. I really hope it goes ahead and ends 0-0, man. Like,
I suppose anybody who has Wilson as well. That people
Wilson went up 0.1 million. What kind of person's bringing him in before the fixture's confirmed? Oh, that's the most casual move I've ever seen. Next up after that is Man United against Man City. On paper, you have to think that City should smash United, but Ole seems to have the run of things in this fixture. Always gets results.
He always gets results against the top six as well.
Unless it's
Arsenal. I think the one thing that we have to note is obviously Bruno's form is mostly away. I think his only blanks have been at home.
Yeah.
Kevin De Bruyne, as good as he was last week.
Oh, he wasn't even that good.
Yeah, I should have had 3 or 4 goals.
Yeah, but so should have Sterling. Like, on another day, that game ends 6-0. Crazy about those players getting so many points and yet still leaving the game somewhat disappointed.
Yeah, it was insane. I'm going to go with United this time. Maybe 2-1 United.
I think City win 3-0. Everton against Chelsea. Everton still aren't playing fullbacks. They're not playing well. Incredibly out of form. Chelsea conceded, so...
It's utterly insane how bad Everton are in the past few game weeks. From an FPL perspective, look, DCL keeps on scoring. It doesn't seem to matter what or who he's playing against.
I'm very tempted to bin him off, to be honest.
I'd keep him for this game. I think Timo does really well against Everton.
Oh, Timo's
I know,
I
hate him so much,
man. So wasteful. I've never seen a striker be as wasteful as he is. Like, well, maybe Morata.
I think there's 2-1 Chelsea.
I think there's goals in this as well. I don't see either team keeping a clean sheet. Even though Chelsea have been so good defensively, I just don't see it.
Yeah.
Southampton against Sheffield United. Sheffield United lost again last minute. Jamie Vardy kicking the gay pride flag.
Oh yeah, because that went down so well with some of the Twitter posts.
Oh God. Southampton looking good. They got a 2-1 win again. Danny Ings came back, scored a penalty.
I think Southampton look the business. I think they'll smash Sheffield here. I really think Sheffield will struggle to get like 20 points this season just based on current form.
It's looking likely. Southampton probably win this 2-1. Crystal Palace against Spurs. I know I slated Spurs last week saying that their defence was poor, but they've kept so many clean sheets of late. And against Arsenal, they just showed more resolve. Although Arsenal are about as blunt as a butter knife.
Yeah, I also like Son and Kane just seem to be the best duo in the world right now. Like they just
Yeah,
remind me of
so in
Suarez
form.
and Sturridge a couple of years ago. They just link up so well.
Sturridge
So,
being compared to the best.
yeah, he did
Yeah,
have that one amazing season.
he did, and yeah, to be fair to him, but
I think Zaha will cause some problems.
Zaha's in insane form. Benteke scored 2. Yeah, this game, it looks like Spurs 3-1 to me.
Yeah, I think Son and Kane will.
Zaha probably gets a consolation. Fulham against Liverpool, you can't look beyond this fixture, really, can you?
Well, once Jota plays, that's all I care about this time. Yeah, I think they'll smash them. I think
Yeah,
easily 3 or 4-0. Trent looks to be back as well.
he does. He almost assisted. Well, he technically did assist Mane, but Semedo wanted the goal instead. His crossing looked good. Liverpool looked immense. It's probably the best they've been all season. They just absolutely smashed what many would consider a good team in Wolves.
Yeah.
They look to be back.
What score do you reckon? 3-0?
Fulham are picking up a bit of form. I don't think Liverpool have been great defensively all season. They'll probably still have a rotated back line. It's unknown if Alisson's going to start. Could still be Kelleher. I do think Lookman's coming into form, or at least has been lately. I could see Fulham picking up a goal in a 4-1 or 5-1 Liverpool win. Salah, Mane, you have to have players like that in your team this week. It's just like last week with Kevin De Bruyne. You need a player like that in your team. Arsenal against Burnley.
0-0.
You look at this game on paper and you're like, Arsenal really should be picking up points here, but seeing how they've played lately, you just don't.
Until Aubameyang starts scoring, Arsenal aren't going to do anything. Genuinely feel that like this is 0-0. I think Burnley could even nick a win here.
I'd drop Auba with how bad he's been lately. I'd start Nketiah up top. It's just not working. Whatever they're doing, they've got this bizarre U-shape attack where it goes sideways to the wingers and then they do 44 crosses against Spurs. What are they like? Imagine how like Burnley are going to eat that up. They've got 2 elite headers of the ball at the back against Auba, who's not great in the air.
Despite the size of his forehead.
Oh, true. But this game, on paper, you know the bookies are going to say Arsenal are massive favourites.
Yeah, of course.
I genuinely steer clear of this game. It's going to be an upset to me.
What are you thinking for Leicester-Brighton then? Leicester, to me, didn't look great. I know they beat Sheffield, but like if you're Jamie Vardy owner, as we are, like those returns weren't good enough.
The issue has been a little bit with creativity, but I do think that Vardy's going to score 2 or 3 goals against Brighton potentially. Brighton somehow are playing 6 defenders but still don't know how to defend. They've got Matt Ryan in goal who looks hapless. I genuinely think that Leicester should do the business here. I just see Jamie Vardy causing absolute havoc. In number 5 is Harry Kane. His cost price is 10.9 million. His expected points for this week are 5.70, and his fixture is against Crystal Palace away from home. What do you think, Shano?
I'm surprised he's actually that low on the expected points given his returns. Obviously 12 points against Arsenal. He blanks against Chelsea and picks up points in probably the past 7 games before then. I definitely think he hits over the 5.6 points. Easily see him getting a goal or assist, especially with Son in the squad with him. What about yourself?
Yeah, against Crystal Palace, there's goals in it. Surprisingly, Palace haven't been keeping a lot of clean sheets this season. I don't think they're defensively as good as people make them out to be. Against Arsenal, I don't really think you can rate Kane's performance too highly because of the fact that in the second half they did sit. He got an assist for Son, but it wasn't like one of those assists where it's like, oh, it's a tap-in. Son did all the work for it. He scored as well, and it was a good goal. But generally, I think it was a little bit of a quieter game for him.
Yeah, like I think we have to remember as well, he's only blanked in 2 games this season. The opening game against Everton and the draw against Chelsea.
He's been immense this year.
Yeah, Spurs have picked up points against City, Chelsea, Arsenal. They just look really good right now.
Yeah, Spurs have to be up there for title contenders. At 10.9 million, I think he's a little bit difficult to bring in.
I don't think you bring him in for this fixture, but if you have him, you keep him, of course.
I generally think that Spurs have some pretty dire fixtures coming up. I wouldn't be bringing in Spurs assets. I know it's not like I'm expecting them to stop scoring or to stop being good assets. It's just not somebody that I'd want to bring into my team. At number 4 is Jamie Vardy. His cost price is 10.3 million. His expected points are slightly higher than Harry Kane's at 5.77. And his fixture is at Brighton at home. I know we've discussed this in the fixtures already. We sort of have a differing opinion about Jamie Vardy this week. So go on. Tell me why you disagree with me.
Yeah, I really expected more against Fulham and Sheffield. I wasn't really happy with his supply. Obviously, Fulham and Sheffield would be expected to sit quite deep, and he plays off the shoulder, which probably impacted his points. But I was really expecting like 2 double-digit hauls, and the fact that he didn't get those has really made me cautious of him. You keep him this week anyway. You don't get rid of him. I don't think he's a captain choice this week for me personally.
I think there's obviously better captains, but if I didn't have certain players and I wasn't bringing them in, he'd be a differential pick for me this
I
week.
would consider.
I do think Brighton are a good team to choose to go up against because they just don't look great defensively. I do think Jamie Vardy, with the wing backs coming back, he'll start scoring more. With better supply throughout the team, it's going to be better. I just think he's a good pick. This week against Brighton, next week he's up against Everton, who can't defend. I think I'd consider bringing him in, but I don't. I think there's probably better options.
I think if you look at Vardy's previous points, he's only gotten over double digits in 3 games. West Brom in the opening game, City when they smashed them, he got 17 points, and Leeds. So of City and Leeds, neither of them can really defend very well, and they play quite possession football, so they would have got caught out on the counter. So West Brom really is the only team that Leicester would have been expected to smash them.
I do think Brighton generally do play quite offensive football, though. They're quite expansive. The one thing which Jamie Vardy also has is that he pretty much plays 90 minutes every week.
Yeah, he's pretty much guaranteed 90. Given his age as well, it's quite good.
I do think he's a good pick. I do think he'll get points. And in relation to your point about not getting double-digit hauls quite regularly, normal seasons you'd be happy with your captain getting 7 or 8 points. I know we've sort of been spoiled with Bruno or Kevin De Bruyne hitting 14 points on the reg, but it's not something you should expect every week. And I think Jamie Vardy could easily get 6 to 9 points, maybe even 10 this week. At number 3 is Sadio Mane. His cost price is 12 million. His expected points are 6.25, and the fixture this week is against Fulham away. What do you think, Shano?
I think if you somehow have him, that you're opting for him over the other big hitter in Liverpool, you captain him. But I don't think you go out of your way to bring him in.
By the other big hitter, you mean Jota, right?
Yeah, of course. There's only one other big hitter. Henderson as well.
Henderson, yeah. Maybe even Ginny Wijnaldum. I do think he's sort of underwhelmed me this season. He's got 4 goals and an assist all season long. He's not on penos. I don't think he's worth the price at 12 million. Pre-season, you were sort of hoping there'd be $1 million in the gap between him and Salah, but there wasn't. I just think if you've got Mane, I'd almost even consider a sideward swap for Salah.
Yeah, or like if you need to get rid of Mane to get in the likes of Bruno or something like that, who tends to show up in the big games, it's an option.
Yeah.
I don't really.
I'd rather Jota, to be honest.
I'll be running Jota anyway.
Yeah, I think Mane he isn't worth the price. I think he'll still keep on ticking along, creating chances, scoring goals. But at his price point, he's just not it for me. He'll probably beat the 6 points for expected this week as well. But
I think a really good comparison is that he's got 31 less points than Salah, and there's 0.3 million in the difference.
Yeah, just not worth it. At number 2, we have a player which I'm not going to recommend. It's Aubameyang. His cost price is 11.5 million, expected points of 6.58, and he's playing Burnley. I don't think I've ever wanted a player in my team less.
He could have an expected points of 15 this week, and I still wouldn't get him into my team.
No, it's just Arsenal are just so out of form.
He has 2 goals all season.
Arsenal have 2 goals in their last 7 games.
He has 2 more points than Willian, and he's nearly 4 million more expensive.
Oh, imagine if you brought in Willian, you'd be a nut job.
Yeah, it's his price. It's nowhere near justifiable. Now, look, this is probably one of those things that we're so against that he probably pops off and gets his random hat trick, and his stats look great then. But he's been horrific looking, and Arsenal in general have been horrific looking.
If you have captained Auba this week and you get a haul, fair play to you, but I'm probably expecting your overall rank to be about 4 or 5 million with decisions like that. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say Arsenal have been so bad that they'll probably finish in the bottom half this season if they don't sack Arteta.
Yeah, I think they're really struggling.
Yeah, I don't see a way out either. Whatever they're doing, it's just not working. Before this game as well, I checked on SofaScore to check out Arsenal's key passes and things like that, and then I compared it to Burnley, and their key players are almost identical. they're just not creating anything. So in number 1, it's Mohamed Salah. His cost price is 12.3 million. You can almost expect that to go up again. His expected points this week are 7.68. It's higher than pretty much everybody else. Of course, he's number 1. And then the fixture is against Fulham away. So Shano, first up, I'm just going to say it like this. Liverpool are back, baby.
Yes, I think so. And I put this in the same category last week, that if you have Salah and you don't captain him, you're a lunatic. Same way you had Kevin De Bruyne and didn't captain him, you're a bit of a lunatic.
This week, it's probably one of the most obvious options that you could have, considering City and Man United are both up against each other.
Yeah, it falls on a really nice week that you don't really have much other choices.
Yeah, there's not that much stress.
Well, let's consider Aubameyang a second choice, but
I think he looks superb against Wolves. He chased down loose balls. He's pressing Cody to cause the first. He created an assist with a lovely cross. He's just looking in form. It's like he almost never had COVID. I was worried, to be honest, after he got COVID to see if it impacted his play, but superb fitness, man. The guy's just elite.
Yeah, to put in perspective, I was planning on getting rid of Kevin De Bruyne this week to get in Salah, but now due to Ziyech's injury, I'm going to have to take a hit and work around it that way. But he's coming in. Even if it was including in a -8, I think he covers it. I think he can easily get 2 or 3.
Every single transfer I make this week is trying to figure a way to fit in Salah.
Yeah.
It's either I'm getting rid of Sterling to bring in Salah, getting rid of Bruno to get in Salah, or I'm doing something bizarre like getting rid of Vardy and bringing in Brewster and then upgrading Jota to Salah. There's just every move I'm making is getting Salah into my team in some way. He's just the essential number 1 pick this week. Next up this week, we have our differential picks. My one's a little bit of a mad one. I'm going for Zaha. He looks incredible. Genuinely, everything which goes through Palace goes through Zaha. Like in previous years, it's always been, Zaha's a bit of a streaky player. Sometimes he will, sometimes he won't. But this season, he just genuinely looks like scoring pretty much every game he plays in.
Okay, he's not even on my radar.
That is a good differential.
I wouldn't even consider him an option.
It's obviously you're going with Salah this week, but if you wanted a differential pick, I'd go with Zaha. I think he could do bits.
Right, so I'm going with 2-point Timo.
Why?
Well, Everton can't defend.
He can't finish.
He won't need to. He's going to get 3 assists next week against Everton. I really think that Chelsea will roll Everton. Pulisic is probably coming in. I would imagine Giroud is starting as well.
Yeah, I think Giroud will start.
Just with how bad Everton are defensively, I just strongly think that the Chelsea asset will be quite good. Most people have Werner. This is going to be his haul that he's due even.
Bro. I know. Fair play. It is something that I would never consider, but I've watched so much of him lately, and he just
I think he gets 10 plus.
That is GameWeek 12's Bookies Captain video out right now. If you haven't already subscribed, please do. We'd really appreciate it. Once again, thanks for watching. We'll see you next week. Bye.